Hey, collective. It's Anne-Marie and Galaxy's Tale. Everywhere I move to, Galaxy, can we listen? I love you. Okay? You're important. Okay? Just thank you. Okay. I hope everybody's having a great Thursday. Why don't we pull some cards and get some messages of clarity for those who would like it? Thank you to my high vibrating ancestors, spirit guides, divines, and beings, and source of light energy. Can we get some messages of clarity for those who would like it? Spirit said you're not focusing. Okay. I love it. Number 16, forgiveness. Wow. Release resentment to regain balance. Number 16, which is 7, the divine number. What is it that you need to forgive to regain your balance? I know a lot of people talk about forgiveness, right? I'm not telling you that you need to forgive your abuser or forgive those people who wronged you. However, with this message, what the universe has shown me is that it's the resentment that's attached to whatever occurred in your life. There's a lot of resentment there. So I would say separate the word forgiveness and recognize how, and again, you don't have to forgive, but by not forgiving, they're still harboring resentment. You are, okay, thank you, Spirit. You are able to deal with the trauma in your life and the betrayal and the lies and all the foul shit that's happened to you by dealing with the resentment and not having to forgive them. I'm not going to sit here and tell people to forgive situations or people. They're not ready to do it yet. It took me years for some things to finally forgive. And it was, I hate to be redundant and so cliche, but the forgiveness is for ourselves and not the other person. And there is truth to that. But a lot of it is because of the resentment that's attached to it. The resentment that comes along with, just stewing in it. Okay, Galaxy, the tail. And so what Spirit is saying is that, how are you able, if you choose not to forgive, that's up to you. How are you able to work through and release this resentment so that you can regain balance in your life? This resentment, whether it's a situation or just a whole period of your life or a specific person, the resentment that you're carrying is preventing you from moving forward in so many areas in your life. You may not realize it. You're carrying and harboring this resentment, possibly anger and rage I'm feeling. There may have been some childhood abuse or a lot of narcissism. And I just heard someone say, I'm never going to forgive them for what they did to me. Okay. You don't have to. It's your choice. But what I'm being shown is that you may not realize how having these resentments and harboring these resentments, again, are affecting all areas of your life. It may not, Spirit's like, it's not to be all of them, but it's actually bleeds over and it's bleeding over into other areas of your life and you're not realizing it. Well, since we finally found these cards, which one are the... Okay, so because I got a strong nudge there about some childhood trauma, and this may not, take what resonates and leave the rest, or take pieces of these messages that may, this is our childhood trauma. What does it need to know about the childhood trauma, Spirit? Those horrible experiences, traumatic experiences that you had shaped your life. Possibly because you weren't given enough attention. And so if this is the case, releasing resentment may look like you understanding that outside approval and validation is temporary and not long-lasting. So usually on these it talks about the past and the present, And the bottom of the deck, it says it doesn't have that. It says, may you heal your inner child to help address issues in your adulthood, such as unhealthy relationship cycles or difficulty meeting your own needs. May you learn to experience more emotional freedom, love, peace, playtime, and joy. So this may be what is hard, what the resentment is doing. It's taking away from the peace and the joy that you can have to having a fulfilling adult life. By not healing certain childhood wounds, if this is the case for this, or whatever trauma it is for you, by not healing certain wounds, and a lot of you are saying, oh, I know this, but not applying it, is what I just heard. That by not healing certain wounds in our life, it does seep over into other areas of our life. If you've lived, like in a family where you weren't given enough attention, right? Or you were neglected, and that's unhealed, right? And you're still harboring resentment for that. You may be in connections where you feel as though people don't show up for you emotionally. They emotionally abandon you, right? You may be in friendships or connections where you overgive. You become a people pleaser, right? Not realizing that subconsciously and deep down, you're trying to get the approval of your parents or of your caregivers, because you haven't forgiven them and you're still harboring resentment against them. Again, you don't have to forgive them. This key piece here is the resentment piece of it. I know there's ways that you can not forgive people, but deal with your pain and anger and resentment. Make it your own. You can work through it. Don't never let anyone tell you have to forgive someone to deal with your resentment. You can deal with your resentment, anger, and pain and still not forgive a person or a situation. It's your choice. But how this resentment, it's like if you resent your parents or an old spouse for not showing up for you and you didn't heal a certain childhood wound, you may go into work and there may be someone who reminds you of your parents or reminds you of the relationship that, they weren't showing up for you. Is that making sense? They were emotionally unavailable for you. So you may work around people who are emotionally unavailable. Not that you be buddy-buddy with your work friends, but I mean that carry that same type of energy because you haven't healed from it. So it's going to keep reoccurring like this fucking cycle in your life. Just cycle. Like, I keep meeting the same type of person because you haven't healed that wound. I keep attracting friendships or connections or whatever in my life that don't honor and respect me. But yet you don't honor and respect yourself. What else do we need to know about this forgiveness? There's two cards about anger and rage, which is interesting, but I was called to move on. It starts with your heart. It starts with your heart. It's like, in order to get to the beautiful bloom of the flower, you have to go up the stem that has a lot of roses. That rose is your heart. Is what I just saw. That rose is your heart. And in order to get through that resentment, you have to go through the thorns, meaning recalling what happened, taking accountability if there is any. For a lot of you, there's not. It's forgiving yourself, is what I just heard. This possibly is about forgiving yourself. Forgiving yourself for being put into situations that you put yourself into out of fear, out of scarcity mindsets, out of not even knowing, out of being unhealed. There's a big piece of forgiving yourself, of staying too long in relationships or in friendships. And, So this is surrender to your frustration.